I am here to very pleased, thankful just for calling me here for giving a brief introduction in the innovation in the field of innovation in the communicable disease. And right now, today's communicable disease is a very burden in the society as well as in this hospitality because whenever the challenge is there, there must be some innovation in the field of any type of field as in the medical science. So we have discussed here something about newer technique or newer innovations in the field of infection and inflammation. Innovation in the management of tuberculosis, like diagnosis in the field of diagnosis. What is the latest version in the diagnosis? Malaria, measles, they are all burden in society. That's why we have to leave something newer aspect, newer technique to just control it and just to find out the early diagnosis. This unmet needs current gaps in the management of communicable disease because of some diseases have no treatment right now. Like HIV and AIDS, there is no cure today. No effective vaccine available for the prevention of HIV, tuberculosis, malaria, dengue, which is very effective, and lack of effective antimicrobials active against multi-drug resistant tuberculosis and VRTB. Now we have discussed about what is the newer methods, what is the newer technique, and what is the newer innovations in the field of bacterial infections. Currently, we have all know about the biomarkers of the infection, bacterial infection like WBC count, C-reactive protein, tumor necrosis factor, and interleukins. WBC count is presently everyone is using this lab diagnosis, but newer biomarkers are in the field of bacterial infection is the lipopolysaccharide binding protein LBP, procalcitonin, and exhaled volatile organic compounds, which is a very interesting in the field of to early diagnose the things. That's why we have just discussed about the newer things like procalcitonin. It is a novel biomarker right now, and the marker for diagnosis of systemic inflammation, infection, and sepsis. As you know, serum levels of procalcitonin are elevated in response to bacterial endotoxins and inflammatory cytokines released during inflammation. As you know, a serum concentration in the healthy individual is about less than 0.1 nanogram per milliliter. But if suppose some patient having the bacterial infection, it will rise. Patients with bacterial infection have higher serum procalcitonin level than those with non-bacterial like viral infection. It is not raised in the viral infection. So, what is the normal value to just diagnose the bacterial infection? We have to know. Procalcitonin level in a different way. If just to start antibiotic therapy, like which level we should start antibiotic therapy, usually in the case of bacterial infection and septic infection, septicemia like that. If suppose we have done a procalcitonin test and if it is less than 0.1 microgram per liter, we have due to because of viral infection. So we have to do a procalcitonin level if supposed to just to confirm the bacterial infection. If suppose there is level of 0.1 to 0.25 microgram per liter, antibiotic therapy discouraged right now, but we have to watch for further increase or further evolution to diagnose something else. If suppose there is level of 0.26 to 0.5 microgram per liter, and if more than 0.5 microgram per liter, is strongly recommended antibiotic therapy. So when procalcitonin level is more than 0.26 microgram, antibiotic therapy indicated. Procalcitonin is the clinical application is that it differentiates between bacterial and viral infection first of all, and elevated levels predict mortality in critically ill patient. According to this measuring the level, you can prescribe judiciously use of antibiotic, and whenever you prescribe the antibiotic therapy and you sequentially follow the level of the procalcitonin level every 3 to 5 days or 7 days, and if suppose the antibiotic procalcitonin level is still high, then you just think about something else. So sequential procalcitonin level are an excellent guide to duration of antibiotic therapy. Now, other method of to just diagnose the respiratory infection, tuberculosis, lung cancer, lung cystic fibrosis. We have right now very excellent diagnostic tools, that is Excel volatile organic compounds VOCs. This is a different volatile compounds are exhaled in different diseases. It is just whenever you exhale in the air, there are different gases exhaled from the different diseases of the lungs. Like if you suppose to have a bacterial infection like Pseudomonas or Staph aureus, or suppose to have the cystic fibrosis, or suppose to have the lung cancer, so they exhale different gases. So there is a technique to just diagnose by analyzing of that gases. That is called exhaled gas organic compound. It is a non-invasive test to assess airway inflammation and oxidative stress. By analytical method to analyzing the gas, like gas chromatography, it is a gold standard, and second one the electronic nodes. First of in this technique, we just exhale the poly bag in the air, exhale in the poly bag, and send him to gas analysis. There is a print out, and that is called drift print. If suppose patient have a Staph aureus infection or Pseudomonas infection, there is a different diagnose even a selective bacteria diagnosis. So it is a very important tool, because right now it is not available in India, but in the foreign country or the abroad country, they are using this technique. There is other method to use this proton transfer reaction mass spectrometry (PTRMS), selective ion fluid tube mass spectrometry, ion mobility spectrometry, and laser spectrometry. These are the method to analyze the gases of the exhaled air. Exhaled volatile compound different. As we have discussed, different VOCs are exhaled in different diseases. One thing more about that we are facing some problem of children. They are suffering with bronchial asthma or presented with breathlessness. So we are not supposed to diagnose in early childhood asthma, that is because of because of breathlessness is present because of asthma or because of virus-induced bronchitis. So at that moment, we have to differentiate by doing this technique, because in early childhood asthma, a patient exhales fractional exhaled nitric oxide, that is called FeNO, and this is diagnosed. This is diagnosed by this technique. And suppose this patient exhale FeNO, that it is because of early childhood asthma, because of there is always inflammation in the airways and as well as oxidative stress. So different hydrocarbons, nitrogen, oxygen or sulfur containing compounds are exhaled. We have also used this technique in the tuberculosis, cystic fibrosis, asthma, COPD and lung cancer. Patient particularly useful in children, elderly, especially ill patient. It is a non-invasive and easy to perform even in a child or old age. Now, innovations in the tuberculosis. There are a roadmap in the tuberculosis innovation from 1982 to 2010. In first time we have discovered, our course discovered tuberculosis bacilli, and now in 2010 we have come to about the introduction of gene expert MTB and the recombinant resistant technology to just diagnose the MDR tuberculosis. In this field, innovation in TB diagnosis, where is multiple pathway. In earlyhood, we have just diagnosed the tuberculosis by just visualizing the sputum for AFB analysis. After that, we have we have gone through culture-based growth detection test. After that, there is another innovation, that is nucleic acid amplification test, LAMP, expert MTV. And after that, we have just discussed about volatile organic compounds detection by eNose biosensor. And right now, today we are using cellular immune response. That is a TB gold test. It is a just interferon assay test, but still it is not very sensitive or specific. And earlier we are using humoral immune response antibody detection tests like TB, IgG, IgM, IgA. At that moment, this serological test for the diagnosis of active TB detect humoral immune response like IgG, IgM, IgA. Currently, 1.5 million tests, mainly ELISA, are performed every year for diagnosis of active tuberculosis. Right now, even in the city and in the rural area, we are using this ELISA, TB, IgG, IgM, and IgA. And there is a high risk of misdiagnosis of tuberculosis. So, it is not recommended by any international guidelines and not used in developed countries by using this technology. There is a specific and sensitivity of this ELISA, TB, IgG, IgM by different authors, different research. In July 2011, WHO issued a policy stating that commercial serological tests provide inconsistent and imprecise estimates of sensitivity and specificity. So, high proportion of false positive and false negative results. So, WHO and RNDCP discouraged by using this method, and as well as Health Ministry and DCGI have banned of import and sale of tuberculosis serological test. There are other methods TB diagnosis as endorsed by WHO, like liquid culture. That is also called bacterial method of diagnosis of tuberculosis by sputum analysis, and automated detection and MDR screening device allows automated sample processing, DNA amplification and detection of tuberculosis and screening for rifampicin resistant. It is very useful, and it is also called gene expert technique, gene expert device. Molecular line probe assess. It is a still under trial STIP test, genotype MTBR plus MTBR resistant, and there is STIP specification detects a TB specific antigen, that is called MTB64 from positive liquid or solid cultures to confirm the presence of microvirial tuberculosis. There is also called capillary TB rapid diagnosis test, but still under trial. This is a gene expert rifampicin assess technique, like first major breakthrough in tuberculosis diagnostics since sputum smear microscopy. Rapid fully automatic nucleic acid amplification test provides simultaneously diagnosis of tuberculosis, genotype rifampicin resistance for the diagnosis of MDR-TB. It is positive diagnosis in 99 to 100% of patients with smear positive and 57 to 83% of patients with smear negative tuberculosis. And for extrapulmonary, it is about 81.3% sensitive. This gene expert. This is a method how to diagnose and how to provide the pathological method, gene expert rifampicin assay. By using this technology, we can conclude the result within 2 hours. Particularly useful in a TB patient with HIV co-infection and suspected case of MDR tuberculosis. It's about 97% sensitive and 99% specificity. This is a HEN MDR plus SL. This is a technique for diagnosis of MDR tuberculosis. There are different steps as mentioned in this slide. What is the benefits of this hand MDR plus? Can be performed from patient specimen, from sputum examination, from culture method, simultaneously detection of tuberculosis complex and resistance to rifampicin or INS. So diagnose the MDR tuberculosis and rapid results in within 5 hours, allows early appropriate treatment, helps to reduce the spread of MDR TB by using this technique. We have discussed about gamma interferon TB gold test, breath analyzer screening test, breath analyzer screening test like VOCs, volatile gas analysis, lipoarabinone detection in urine. In some places we are for the nitroeurophilic tuberculosis, we are using this LAM detection in urine. There is urinary levels of tuberculosis LAM, rapid and simple test, useful, also useful in the tuberculosis and HIV co-infection patient. Now we have discussed about some innovative vaccines for tuberculosis, which are still under development. As you know, for prevention of tuberculosis, we have since last decade we are using the BCG vaccines for the control of tuberculosis. But their variation is very high, about 0 to 80%. So we will discuss about something newer vaccines which are very soon coming in the market. There are 2 sets of TB vaccines are under development, like BCG replacement vaccines and boosters to BCG vaccines. We have just brief discussion here. What is the BCG replacement vaccines? That is called RBCG30. It is a genetically modified BCG strain engineered to overexpress AG85B protein of the mycobacterium. There is another vaccine that is VPM1002, a recombinant BCG vaccine engineered to overexpress listrolysine enzymes of L-lysine monocytogenes. These are under trial vaccine, but it's not still in commercialized. Other boosters vaccine like MVA85A, a recombinant strain of modified vaccine, Ankara virus express AG85A from M. tuberculosis. Crucial AD35, a recombinant non-replicating AD35 vaccine encoding MDB antigens, and M72 vaccine. This is a protein in adjuvant vaccine. Current status of TB vaccine. In 2010, there are 11 candidate vaccines being evaluated in clinical trials. 2 TB vaccine, MVA85A and ERAS-402 are currently being evaluated in efficacy trials and will come in the market very soon. We have not discussed the MVA85 ongoing trials. Vaccine for tuberculosis and HIV. Chinese researchers have developed a vaccine that acts simultaneously against M. tuberculosis and HIV 1P24. This vaccine is currently undergoing preclinical studies. Now we have moved something new about innovation in the treatment of tuberculosis. Especially it is a burning challenge for tuberculosis to control MDR tuberculosis. And according to WHO estimates, up to 500,000 new cases of TB occur each year globally. And nearly 4% of all new TB cases are drug resistant. 1 in 5 TB patients who have previously received tuberculosis treatment are estimated to have drug resistant tuberculosis. So 1 in 20 TB patients are tested for drug resistant. Then we know that out of 194,000 patients detected with MDR TB, only 77,000 patients began treatment, especially MDR tuberculosis. So it is underdiagnosed, under treatment that we facing the problem of MDR tuberculosis. So and why this MDR tuberculosis occur? Because of some current limitation of current regimes. Like you know that current treatment of MDR tuberculosis is about up to 2 years, including daily injection for the at least 8 months. Patient has to take multiple doses daily, which can produce severe side effects and lower efficacy. Only about 48% of patients on optimized treatment are cured. and it is more expensive, more side effect. So we have to know about newer drugs just to control MDR-TB, and the new drug with better efficacy and improved tolerability are urgently required. Now we discuss new TB anti-drugs challenge. What would be the newer anti-TB drugs that would be challenged? It will act faster rating so that duration of treatment could be shortened, and different mechanism of action so that the tuberculosis bacilli do not easily develop resistance to the drug, and it should be active against dormant bacilli and as well as in treatment of latent tuberculosis. So we have some newer drug about 10 anti-tuberculosis drugs under trial. Out of them, one in very commercialized way, it will soon in the market early. There are nitromidazole derivatives, that is called OPC 67683 phase 2 trial. Oxyloridone analogs PNU, the company manufactured Pfizer, but it is still under trial phase 2. And there is substituted ethylenediamide, that is SQ109, which is under control phase 2. And the latest is diaralupinolone, that is called bedaquiline. It is commercialized and it will start working very soon. So that is called bedaquiline. It is a newer drug of anti-TB, which is also useful for MDR tuberculosis. It is the first new TB anti-drug developed after a 40 years gap. It is a research product of Janssen Pharmaceuticals. It is a Sweden company. The presentation of this tablet is about 100 mg tablets, and the market brand name is Saturo. And it is approved by the US FDA in December 2012. Treatment for the MDR tuberculosis. How it works, bedaquiline? Actually, bedaquiline, it increases energy production in microbial tuberculosis by inhibiting ATP synthase. So it inhibits the growth of actively replicating as well as non-replicating drug-sensitive and drug-resistant microbial tuberculosis. No inverse drug interaction with other anti-tuberculosis have seen. No cross-resistant with ethambutol, paraginamide, moxifloxacin, amikacin, and streptomycin. What is the dose of bedaquiline? Is 400 mg daily for first 2 weeks, and followed by 200 mg 3 times per week for at least 22 weeks. It's about total 6 month treatment. Other drug is delaminate. It is also known OPC 67683. Investigational new drug for MDR-TB. It is a nitromidazole derivative, and it inhibits the mycolic acid synthesis in the bacterial cell wall, and undergoing trial second and third stage. There is something about the innovation in other communicable disease. About dengue fever, 100 million cases reported each year, 20,000 days a year. Incidence has risen 30-fold in the last 50 years. Spread by the Aedes aegypti mosquito. Currently, no effective vaccine or specific drug exists. Dengue fever eradication. There is some research work that has been done in the dengue fever. Professor Liu Elfi from the Department of Zoology at the University of Oxford. Actually, he is using a genetically modified strain of Aedes aegypti. When released into the wild, these genetically modified males mate with females, and their offspring never develop into adults. That will control the Aedes aegypti in future. So it is a successful field trials conducted in Brazil, Malaysia, and Cayman Islands. And he received Wellcome Trust Translation Award in 2011 for that. Dengue vaccine, all the vaccine of dengue is still under trial. There are 4 types of vaccine. We have not to discuss all the things. Malaria vaccine, there is no effective vaccine right now, but all the under trial. Malaria vaccine,
These are all named. It doesn't need to know. Malaria vaccine 2. It is also under trial phase 1 and phase 2. Malaria vaccine recombinant permanent vaccine. It is sponsored by Crucial indication for prevention of malaria phase 1 and second trial. Masculinix malaria recombinant vaccine. It's the latest Smith line developed this vaccine and it is under trial phase 3rd. How rapid HIV/AIDS diagnosis test? Nanobiosym, a nanotechnology firm based in Boston, has created a mobile device that can accurately test for HIV. It is also a newer technique to diagnose the HIV and AIDS just by mobile device. It is called Gene Radar. The iPad-sized piece of technology works by taking a drop of blood, saliva, or other bodily fluid and placing it on a nano chip that is then put into the device. The results available within an hour. The communicable disease, the future, a number of promising new diagnostic tests, vaccine and medicines are under development. These innovations will help us in the fighting communicable disease promptly and more effectively. Thank you.
This is the